Can you talk about how you structure it from a people perspective on your internal team? What do you use internal staff for? I know they're all remote. What do you use VAs for or freelancers? Give the audience a good picture of that structure.
Yeah, so I am in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yes, it really exists. It's halfway between Chicago and
Where Jeter
Kalamazoo.
grew up.
That's right.
I'm a big Jeter fan.
All
Kalamazoo.
right. I was going to say, you see more Yankees jerseys around here than you do Tigers jerseys. But yeah, most people have no idea where it is. And, 10 years ago, we would have had to been in LA or New York, one of the big centers. But what I saw with my last company is that as much as I love this place, not everybody loves it, right? I can't find the talent here, nor can I reach out to a customer. We've got customers in Australia. We've got them in Asia, the Middle East. I can't tell them, oh, sorry, we're shut down today. We got 10 inches of snow in Kalamazoo.
Right.
That's not their problem, nor do they understand what snow is, some of them. So with that, we needed to have a global team in order to serve a global audience. And the flexibility that's given us, I can't tell somebody that, our office is only open from 9 to 5 East Coast time. That's ridiculous when you're serving this. So I always said that I wanted to find the best people I could. And to me, work now is what you do, not where you go. So we look at that and say, if it is a key integral part to our business, our account managers that deal with the clients all the time, our relationship managers that deal with the podcast hosts all the time, those are key internal functions that we keep within our team. But it's hard to grow a team. It's hard to scale a team. And I would much rather leverage what you've done, Nathan, and on other things. We call them our overnight angels. I can give assignments to your team that my team needs during the day, and you guys will do them overnight. It's just like magic. Or there's things like research. There's things like graphic design, other things like that there are people that are much better than us at that, and it's not our key area. Why wouldn't I outsource that? So to me, it's much, much more scalable with that. The other thing that I didn't totally appreciate with the remote team was the flexibility that it gave the team too. And we have some people that are working for us just because they like that flexibility. I can think of one team member that her mom got sick and she had to move back home for 3 months. Well, if she had a job, she would have had to leave that job. We had another team member that came to me and said, my spouse just got this great job offer, in the Olympic Peninsula, and can I move there and take the job? Well, Nathan, I'm not the most worldly guy. I'm like, oh, that's fine. That's no problem. How far is Greece ahead? Is that like, 5 or 6 hours ahead East Coast time?
Right.
And she's like, no, the Olympic Peninsula of Washington. And I'm like, oh, that's easy. You could have moved there and I wouldn't have known the difference because really, work is what we do, not where we go.
And I think the VAs are perfect for the podcast industry. I mean, I use them to get on a lot smaller podcasts. We use you guys for bigger ones. You can use them for sales and marketing, for leads on the client side, finding experts, finding coaches, different stuff like that. If you're a host, reaching out to people, all those stuff that just take up way too much time as an entrepreneur. If you can come up with a good system and process for it, and keep in mind, it is one of those things where it's trial and error, it's split testing, it's building the process better and better over time. VAs are perfect for it. Would you agree?
Oh, and I would totally agree. And I would say build the process and then also copy the process, right? You don't have to start something from scratch. And one of the things I love about your team is they've worked with other people. They've got processes. They know what works already. And so I remember you were a master of this. Before you'd go to a meeting, you'd be reaching out to people on LinkedIn, connecting with them, all the rest of that. And I'm like, I could do that same thing. And so now I've got a process. And every time I go to a meeting, I reach out to Jan on your team and say, hey, this is the meeting I'm going to. Here's the list of people that are going to be there. Here's the list of speakers. Could you reach out for me and at least make that contact? And, it's the first time there's a little bit of work to it. But boy, after that, it's magic. You sleep and the work happens.
Completely agree. So we have a Facebook group called Outsourcing Masters. If anyone's listening, feel free to join the group. And one of the posts that I had recently was all about using VAs for lead generation. So I try to network with new people every day. I try to join new groups, be a part of new community, reach out to different influencers. And I create these sheets over time of my hit list. We're always adding to it. It could be people I meet at conferences, or maybe I'm at a conference with them and I don't get a chance to meet with them. And they all get added to a database. And when I wake up every morning, I have a list of people to contact. So I just go through, I have a list of what groups to join. I have a list of what Quora links to post stuff in. So it's all very organized. And over time, if you're doing that stuff day in and day out, your network grows, your business grows, your audience grows. And there's a lot of creative ways you can do it once you come up with a good system.
And I love how you say that too, because you want to work with people that just don't take direction, but also help empower you. And so it's like when people say, well, how many people do you have on the team? How many people work for you? Sometimes I think, well, the question is how many people do I work for? And I love that when, somebody comes and says, hey, this is what you need to do today. I don't have to think about it. Those are the high level tasks that are important. So I think it's not a control, it's a delegation and empowerment model.
Let's talk about the podcast industry. Where do you see it's going? Because I have to be honest with you. People have been telling me for years to start a podcast. And when I thought it was at its peak a few years ago. I was on like Entrepreneur on Fire. I was on all these podcasts. I'm like, all right, this is great. This is awesome. But are we at the peak? Does the world really need more podcasts? But